Where's Dan? Oh, right there.
Oh, there's Janice. She got her computer working.
Yeah. Hi.
One.
Sharon E. couldn't send the email, so I had to read her the 30 characters.
Oh.
And Pat should be coming in some way or another.
Hi, Janice.
Hi, Dan. Could you think about answering my email that I only send you once a year?
You know, I got an email from you, but it only had like some numbers on it. It just said 2 to 4, so I answered it today, and I just put, dear friends, please join our Zoom meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know,
Janice has the weirdest background.
There are 40 people in our group, and you only send it to 6 people, so I just thought you might like to know that. Okay.
Yeah.
And Dan is stocked up on rolls of it looks like
it's
paper towel.
My paper towel collection.
And the shine on his head isn't so much.
Hi, Jerry. Oh, do I have to unmute
Here,
Jerry?
got it.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay.
Oh my gosh, Bernadette, I was just talking to you.
I know.
And then you said you weren't going to be able to join.
Well, Bernadette here. Oh, there's my better half. Hi.
Hi, better half.
It was our 5th wedding anniversary yesterday.
Oh, yeah? What year?
Already? Congratulations.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
Janice is in outer space. I like that, Janice.
Yeah. Welcome, Janice, your first
I don't
time.
know how to change it. My daughter put that on there. Does anyone know how to change the background?
Nope, you're out of the world for us. You're out of the world. Hello, Van. Hello, Jay and Barbara. Hello, Alan, Marilyn, and again. Okay, wait a minute. I've got something. I may have to check back in. Hang on just a sec. I need to.
We're getting on. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Okay, hang on. Okay, good. All right, I guess I'm still here. If I disappear, I'm not.
There's Marilyn.
Hello, Marilyn.
Yes, hi,
Hi,
Marilyn.
Marilyn. Hi, Marilyn.
And Jay. Okay.
Antal has a new book he's working on called Hummingbird, and it's a collection of poetry. So,
with pictures, I hope.
Yeah, it should be coming out later this year.
Sounds good. So Dan, I contacted the referral that you gave me. I haven't heard back from him yet.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, he contacted me because he wants to know what topics he could speak on, and I gave him a list.
Well, also, you say he has his own publishing company?
Yes, yeah, it's
that in itself right there. And so I gave him the 3 more dates because we just have September, October, November.
Yeah.
And then I thought we'd just have an online Christmas thing, I guess,
Okay.
So, and then it doesn't look like though we're going back in January from the way things kind of look, but
yeah,
who knows, huh?
Yeah, it's just we're not flattening the curve very well in California or anywhere really.
Well, I just got back from Louisiana on Wednesday. I was there almost a month, and I survived my bus ride to the airport and my flight and being with my ER nurse son.
Good.
So, but now I'm giving myself 2 weeks where I'm going to be walking around with a mask just in case I've picked up anything, mostly from the bus ride.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I have a question. I had to say and tell Sharon all the numbers, and after ROT, is that an L or an I before the Y?
I'll put it in the chat.
Okay.
Because you only need this. Let's see. Yeah.
I had to go through all 30 of those characters.
If you want to invite your friends, yeah. It's in the chat room there.
I don't see. That's it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and that should work. I know it's got all these.
EJ,
But
right.
some of them are.
OT. Wait a minute. That's not what. No, I didn't get ROT. Well, I got in.
You may. Yeah. You don't need the other number. It's an ID number.
You got RIV and I had ROT.
Yeah.
Oh well. IVY. Okay, so what would you call that after the R? There's a what? An IVY?
RIVY.
RIVY. Okay, thank you.
No, that's a 1.
Oh, is that 1?
That's
No.
a 1.
It's not a 1. That's not a 1 there. Below it, there's
a
a
1. Yeah. No. Yeah, it's complicated because some of them are zeros and some are capital O's.
I know that those are zeros that are skinny. The zeros are skinny. The capital O's are fat.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're saying.
Oh, you know what? It's a lowercase L.
It's enough to make you pull your hair out. You can see that's why I have a bald spot.
I am happy that we're using the same number each time. So that way I can.
Yeah, we're using the same one. I had trouble today. I mean, because I went and logged into Zoom, and Zoom says you don't have any meetings. And so I had to go to Van's announcement and copy the link and then give it to Zoom and say, yes, I do have a meeting. This meeting is every month. So I'm,
It's a
I'm also.
It's a lowercase L. R lowercase L.
Oh, that's a lowercase L.
V. Yeah.
You said it was an I.
Oh, it looks like an I, but it's not. It's a lowercase L.
Janice, I can send an email to your.
No, it's Sharon, and she can't read her emails. And
Oh,
she can't
okay.
find her emails, so I had to tell her the whole thing over there. Okay.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, that's hard when you have an internet link and you have to, tell it to somebody. It's just like in the Army, you say Victor, Tango, Bravo. Yeah.
Do we
I know why they do that.
Do we know how many? Pat was supposed to be there. I don't know what Pat is.
Only 8 people.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, Sharon's trying to get in, and Pat.
Faith may join us around 3 if she can make it. So.
Says you're reading.
We may want to just do a sort of a tally ahead of time. I don't know. Okay, Pat.
They can RSVP,
Are
but
you in?
I haven't done it.
I
may be looking for a like a deputy, Zoom master, somebody.
You can, but why don't you can't just plug in your computer? You want to use your phone? Is there a phone access to this today?
Yes.
Okay.
You should open a browser like if.
I'm going to ask Dan to sell. Do you have it, Dan? The phone.
Well, it's the same one. It's the same thing, but if Sharon has Google on her phone.
Well, no, I'm talking to Pat right now. Pat says her computer is not charged, so she can't do it on the computer.
Oh.
So does anyone have the access for phone?
No.
All right, you just want to listen?
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay, I can get that.
Okay, that's okay. She said she's not going to write it down, but I'm going to just let. This is Pat Garvey, and she's going to just listen. And I already gave Sharon, the 30 characters, and it just reminds people that it's every month. Thank you very much. Okay, Pat. This is Pat Garvey, P-A-T, Patricia Garvey, G-A-R-V-E-Y.
Okay.
Is on. What? Well, hang up and call me back. Okay, Sharon's calling Pat. See, we're the trio. Three amigos.
Hi, Judy. Judy just joined us.
Oh.
Hi, Judy. You're on mute, but
Oh, hi,
no
Judy.
waving.
Yeah, I can
Oh.
ask to
Yeah.
You now owe Disney. You mentioned one of their characters.
Now, hi, Judy.
Hey, hi.
Okay. See, I put all these phone numbers in here on the right on Zoom chat. It's on the right only if you have if you don't have that on the right. It's a good idea to, you know, if you click on chat down at the bottom, it'll put the messages over on the right hand side of your screen.
Hello.
And yeah, and then
Is there a password? Is that 084693?
yes.
Okay, she says, yeah, because I didn't see it. 084693.
4 messages.
I'm sorry, you're right. 084693. Hi.
Bingo.
I know one meeting I had 5 people on the line. This is getting
Oh,
crazy. I must be the helper.
you are. You how is your haiku meeting? I'm on the list for that.
Oh, but I never see you there.
Oh, I
The
know.
good news is 3 years ago we were supposed to publish our anthology. We've had a lot of delays,
Oh,
but the good news is we're supposed to get it in August. Okay. Hello.
this is like
Okay, Pat's back. Pat's back. Here
okay,
we
good.
go. She gave Sharon the information, and hopefully Sharon will get on. She typically is sitting in the dark
Okay.
at her house, but I'm on, and Pat
Good.
Garvey is listening. All right.
So we'll go ahead and go. So like 2:30 to 3:34. We'll start, Alan, about 2:30. If we'll catch up on how people are doing, and
Okay.
that'll give you 90 minutes if you need it. So if you want it. But anyone
That's
have
great.
any exciting news? Any?
Well, Pat, Sharon, and I have had some more Tonka and haiku accepted, so I have to get that to Van. And Dean
Great.
Dean said he can't come. He's sorry, but this is his daughter's birthday, and his daughter lives with him. She's able to work from home, and so that's good news. And they're doing well, and he visits his mother as often as he can.
Wow.
Yeah, she's in a convalescent home.
Oh.
She doing okay? They're doing okay at the home there? As far as you know?
No, I'm sure they're doing better than Cuomo, who sent all his COVID-19 patients to senior citizen homes. Which
Well,
is
they've learned
horrific.
since then. That was when they didn't know what they were dealing with. So
Oh, come on.
they've
You
learned since
don't have to
then.
be a mayor or a governor to figure that one out.
They had no idea. No, my son is a nurse in the ER in Louisiana, and every day they're coming up with something
Wow.
new. And while I was there, they didn't have, none of the local hospitals had any available beds. It works like in a satellite ER facility, and none of the local hospitals had any beds to send anybody, COVID
Oh.
or not. It was that crowded, so
Wow.
it's
That-
for real.
well, Texas, I guess, and Louisiana, and I don't even know what's going on with Oregon. And
Oregon, I don't think is on the hot list at least, but all the southern states pretty much. Interesting. I heard the other day, every single one of the Confederate states has been a hot state.
Alan, what about Virginia? Is Virginia a hot spot, Alan?
My son and daughter-in-law and both grandsons are currently in Virginia. They're staying safe, but they're not having any problems. I don't know about Virginia as a whole. They're fine.
Yeah, I haven't heard it on the list of the hot ones.
Are you gonna sing one of your grandson's songs for us?
Oh.
I don't sing his songs. I don't sing for anybody.
You said you're his agent. You sent us all that info, and then now I can't find it.
I'm going to.
His senior
My
recital.
thunder here. Later in the show here. I'll bring you up to date on Matthew and how he and I are working together.
Oh, there's William.
That would be great. Hi, William. Welcome.
Sorry, I'm late.
Yes, Alan, that would be great.
Yeah, William, I need your email. You have the longest email, you and your mother. Can you right now give it to me? Because I sent you 2 requests and you never answered it. Could you go and give me your email?
I never got anything from you, so yeah, you might have had the
Well,
wrong
I sent it to your mother because I didn't have your email. Can you give it to me?
Yeah, I can either tell you or I can chat it to you. Which one's easier?
I mean, is it William Wittenberry, or is there more, or what?
No, so my old school email, which is the super long one, is getting decommissioned. So the one that I use now is just W.A. Wittenberry. So it's W.A. and then my last name at gmail.com.
Well, geez, doesn't that make sense? W.A. Wittenberry, because you have a tricky name, at gmail.com. All right. And then your mother has Beth. Doesn't she have a long one too?
BK Wittenberry at Gmail, so it's the same format.
Say it again for hers,
Hers
please.
is BK Wittenberry at Gmail. Thanks, Dan.
You're welcome.
It's the same format. Yeah. Sorry I'm late, guys. I had to come over from another activity.
We're just catching up. We're going to start at 2:30, and if Alan wants to go till 4, whatever. And
gotcha.
I had a question for Will. You sent me your PowerPoint thing, but you didn't say whether I could share it with the membership or not.
Oh yeah, go ahead. That's fine. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I wanted the okay from you before I did it.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, sorry about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I enjoyed your presentation, William. Yeah, especially when you talk about fonts. You know, I think I too am a font geek, and my wife is working on her next poetry book, and yeah, I'm gonna try out some of those fonts that you mentioned. So
sure, yeah,
yeah.
Is there any chance that William, that you can provide a little report for our newsletter?
Oh yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
I had another engagement, so I mean, it's always nice to. What is that called? The reader's notes or whatever it is.
Speaker's
Well,
notes.
actually,
I'm working
Janice.
on that now. I'm working on that now.
Oh, okay.
You know, and Will gave me all the stuff I need to work from, so expect me to do it in the newsletter, which will come out soon, believe it or not.
Also, Janice, these are being recorded, and you should have been sent the link for the first the other 2 meetings. You should have been sent. If not, we'll, Van, if you can make note, maybe to send the links, or Dan to. And this is being recorded right now, FYI, everybody.
Okay.
You recorded, so watch what you say. Yeah.
Yes, what should you say?
So, yeah, so I just wanted to say, I'll send you some poems, Van, and okay, so that sounds good. For whatever reason, Pat and Sharon say they haven't been receiving it. I don't know if you can check your mailing list. Sharon Yee 56 at yahoo.com, and Pat Garvey, and I have to send you her email because it's tricky. But they say they haven't been getting it, and they're a little confused. Our group is called Southwest Manuscripters, and I said, well, you have to look up the right, W-R-I-T-E, stuff, right? Right.
Yeah.
Marilyn, how have you been doing? How's everything up on the hill? Are you on?
Yeah. Yep. Good.
Good. Good. Are the peacocks keeping you company? Have they got more aggressive now that people aren't?
No, collecting feathers by the tons of feathers. I'm just putting them out. I'm putting them out beside my driveway, and they're being taken away by people who want to collect, you know, the eyes and the feathers.
Yes.
Oh, good.
Any babies? Have you seen any babies in the neighborhood?
Babies galore. 10,
Okay.
10, at least 10 of babies.
Well, I think you've got some material for a Peacock poem.
You could write it for me, Janet.
Well, I would like to, Marilyn. I would. So let's keep that in mind.
Okay.
Like, and you know what? I've been thinking, if I have done it with my students at school and other people, where we have like a duet, you know, and there is a type of poetry where it's called linking. Someone writes a line, like you would write some lines, I would write a line, and we would just keep developing this story or poem, bouncing off of each other with ideas. And I sent, it wasn't, I didn't spell her name right, but I sent it to, I know I sent it to Van, what is it? Her, Kiana
Becko. Yes, I did find her. I think she's in my email list. Van, I want to make sure you have it too. I'll send that information to you. So.
Did you send it to her? Because I couldn't find it. I found the piece of paper with her phone number on it when I was cleaning, and then I called her and I had a great conversation, and then I lost the paper again.
I'll get in touch with her too. I'll say, but Barbara, Jay, how have you been doing?
It was supposed to be for today. So if you, I don't know if you can't send it to her today. Okay.
Right. It's too late. It's like we're there. So Jay, Barbara, you guys, how are you doing?
We're doing okay.
Jay
Good.
had hip surgery on the 22nd.
Yeah, I have a new hip.
Wow.
You had, or you're,
Got a new hip last week.
did you really?
Oh.
Oh my gosh. How are you doing?
I'm driving,
Oh,
Wow.
okay.
so I'm not doing too bad.
Were you limping before?
Oh yeah, I'm limping now.
Well, I thought Barbara was limping.
You were worried about your weird background. Background's okay. It's the faces.
It's
Well-
the face that looks a little weird.
You're
You've lived-
disappearing into space there.
Yeah, you've
Oh,
blended
really?
into the background,
Oh,
and
yeah.
now it's
Yeah, that's all right.
It's like bleeding, but I've tried. I've asked some people, oh, you got to go to YouTube and do what they say. Well, personally, every time I go to YouTube, they want a password. I don't know how to do that.
On YouTube.
Yeah.
Our July meeting is on YouTube, as Jerry mentioned, and I'll put it here in the Zoom chat. Oh, wait a minute.
I think both June
I don't
and
know.
July. This is our
Yeah,
third.
yeah, June and July. I don't know why it came out in such a long.
Yeah. If you could possibly tell me, although somebody, you know, actually, I put a light on me here, so then that way I don't look like I'm flying out in space. I would prefer a cherry blossom background, but I don't want to pay any money, and I don't want to sign up for anything else. You know, I just my computer like crashed today. They go, Microsoft says your computer's blocked and all that. And I screamed at my husband. He said, just shut it down. Was it Control, Alt, Delete? And yeah, I mean, they want me to pay $500 for some kind of a fix. I had a friend who did that and realized it was a scam. And luckily, because she put it on her credit card, she was able to dispute it. But there are a lot of predators out there.
Yes, there were.
Oh, yeah.
Judy, hi there. So tell us what you've been up to in this pandemic.
Well, I had a dandy fall at the post office on Crenshaw and Monterey about a month ago. So I've been hobbling around with a cane.
Ooh.
But yesterday was the first day I was able to wear a closed-toe shoe.
Oh, wow.
So I'm celebrating.
Wow.
Judy, what did you say you did at the post office to have to
I tripped over a small curb and I landed on my knee and lower leg and left foot. And my left foot's not been happy for a month, but gradually the swelling's going down. And fortunately, a couple of guys saw me on the ground and they helped me up. I didn't break any bones. I just kind of a little bit of my pride. And so I've been going to chiropractors and acupuncturists for treatments, and I'm better. But
Good.
it's
At
kind of
least
hard.
they're open, and you probably don't have a lot of social engagements you have to run off to. So
That's true.
you
It's just
know.
keeping my leg up in the air a lot,
right.
elevated.
Aw.
My problem is too much time on the computer. Being a substitute, we have to take all these online training courses, and so my back and my hips went out, and so I'm going to the getting some help too with trying to be lined up, no
Wow.
twisting, lined up.
Bernadette, catch us up, sweetie. How are you doing? I mean, so good to see you. So
To see everybody.
have you done any writing or anything?
Yeah, I'm going through two more manuscripts I'm going through.
Oh, good. Good. And again, if you come across anything related to the club, set it aside, and because Van's getting all that historical information, and one of these days, hopefully when we can meet live, we're gonna, it may be a 75th at this point. I think we already decided, which is only like 3 years, I think, in the future.
Right.
So I think that's what we're looking forward to, our 75th club anniversary.
Yeah.
So anybody
I'm
has
looking forward
anything,
to seeing everybody in the club.
I know, it's so strange. But at least we have this option. Could you imagine if we it looks like maybe not even being able to go a year or something without?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so I'm glad. Thank you again, Dan, so much for getting this together.
Oh,
And,
sure. My pleasure.
yeah. And
I thought
again,
it would
I'll
be-
put this.
Yeah, because I'd already been doing it with teaching, and this is maybe more fun. This is more fun than a class, which you have to keep track of attendance and that sort of thing. I don't have to do that.
But
Oh, you know what?
anyone that has any suggestions too, or anyone that again wants to be a speaker, whatever, we've got again September, October, November. I'm waiting to hear back from Dan's colleague to get him hopefully booked, and then so we've got about two more after that. So
I just got a message saying that we only had 10 more minutes because we originally only had 40 minutes. I thought they would give us a deal this month. So we may have to all log back in after that 10 minutes is up.
okay, everyone hear that? If we go so
Yeah.
Okay, well, in that,
It says upgrade, but
because they've given us.
Yeah,
I don't see anyone new on here. Do the monitors show up? I think that one time there was a monitor.
Oh, really? Oh.
I think so.
So are you paying for all this, or just you want contributions, or what?
Well, we have funds too, but
it's a free account.
Yeah. So it only goes for an hour per session. Is that it?
Yeah, so,
I've never seen Zoom actually cut people off. Like they claim it's 40 minutes, but I've been in a lot of meetings that were supposed to be only 40 minutes, and not once has it actually enforced that. So we're probably going to be fine, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that Dorothy? Is that Dorothy? No.
Dorothy.
Dorothy. Hi, Dorothy.
Welcome, Dorothy. You're muted right now. Welcome.
Dorothy, turn on your speak.
Dan, I want you to be host, because I finally figure out what that means.
Oh, yeah.
I thought, well, yeah, I'm conducting. I'll be host, but I don't know what I'm doing as far as the host.
Oh, no, that's all right. I'll be host.
Okay, that's great. Well, actually, why don't we go ahead and get started then? Today's guest is Alan, and so glad that we're able to do this. So,
how many years, Alan, have you been a member? 35 years or more?
Certainly through the 80s, so that would be
What'd you say?
Through the 80s?
Yeah, certainly since 1980, and I'm sure I attended a few meetings before that. So at least 40 years, maybe a little more.
Oh.
Am I on?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, go ahead. Take it away.
You
Welcome, Alan.
If we happen to get cut off, we have to log back in again, or what?
You have to log back in. I will give you guys the information. And you should be able to see the chat room. So, see there's the Zoom meeting login over on the side, and then if you you all have my email address, proflambert at 23@gmail.com. So you can't get in, just send me an email.
Is that, can you repeat that again? PROF, what?
PROF, LAMBERT 23@gmail.com.
Okay, so you, we should have that in case we cannot get back in. And what did we decide about that one? Was that an L or was that an I?
R-O-F.
Probably a lowercase L.
It's a lowercase L.
Once more again, I can't read it. P-R-O.
I put it in the chat.
It's in it, yeah. PROF LAMBERT 23@gmail.com.
Okay. Okay.
It says we have 5 minutes and 20 seconds.
Okay. Okay, do you want me to go ahead and start then?
Sure.
Okay.
Please.
Okay, well, it's good to see you all today. I hope you're all safe and well.
Yeah.
I want to tell you about my new book, East of the Wall, currently available as an ebook, and I'd like to tell you something about the next step with the book, which is making it available as an audiobook. And I also have some information on websites useful for writers. We should probably keep the meeting interactive. Dan, maybe you can keep track of things like chat, and every once in a while we'll take questions, because I've got several different topics, and so probably a good idea to take questions as we go along. Okay, East of the Wall is the second book of my new series, which
Could you talk just a little louder?
I'm sorry?
Can you talk just a little louder? I can't
Not
hear
much.
You
I
can
can't
probably
talk
turn your
much
volume up
louder.
on your computer.
Let's see how I do
Get
this.
closer to the mic, Alan.
Okay, is this better?
Yes.
Can everybody hear me?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right, I almost got my nose on the computer here. East of the Wall is the second book of my new series, which I call the Charlie and Liz novels, because the protagonists are named Charlie and Liz. The first book of the series, published last year, is called Trust Me If You Dare. Takes place in 1962 in several places, including Castro's Cuba. East of the Wall takes place in 1963, mostly in East Germany. The Berlin Wall was erected in 1961 by East Germany, also called the German Democratic Republic, or GDR. Their official reason for building the wall was to keep the fascists from West Germany out of the GDR. Okay, show book cover. Let's see, can everybody see this? It looks back to me, but I know that you can see it all right. There. The sign on the cover was located at Checkpoint Charlie, one of the checkpoints between East and West Berlin. It says, "You are leaving the American sector in 4 languages." Bonnie and I have visited the place where Checkpoint Charlie was located. The sign is still there, as well as the Checkpoint Charlie Museum, which has stories of escape attempts from East Germany and some of the devices used in them. With that in mind, I'd like to read you a poem that I wrote about the Berlin Wall after our first visit to Checkpoint Charlie, a copy of which was on display at the museum until they remodeled a few years ago. I promised Janice I would read a poem today, so here it is. Over and under and through the wall they came, parched with a thirst they couldn't quench, tunneling, flying, leaping, crawling, hidden in car seats and carts, determined to wrench themselves free from tyranny's stench. Oppressed, tortured, imprisoned, shot, still the thirsty could not be denied. The spring of freedom beckons so close, so far, yards, feet, yea, inches away they died, and friends and loved ones cried. Some made it, a baby hidden in a bag in a cart, desperate men who leapt on a moving train. A hollow car seat, tunnels, boats, makeshift lighter, balloon, and plane, putting an end to the thirst and pain. And then one day, one wonderful day, they hammered and shattered and tore down the wall. Thirsting, singing, shouting, laughing, hugging, chunk by chunk, they watched it fall, and the terrible thirst was quenched for all. The wall came down, by the way, in 1989, went up in 1961, came down in 1989, 28 years. Some of the escape attempts were ingenious. A man observed okay, I see people are coming back.
Hello, everyone.
Yes, hello again. Yeah,
This-
so we need, so Dan, is there a way that we can request more time to begin with? Is that what we need to do or what?
No, not without paying.
Okay, how much is paying? Yeah, how much is paying? Because this is a good thing to know, especially if we have professionals, what, you know what I'm saying? And
It's about $12 to $14 a month.
oh, that's
From what
not,
yeah, so we could, I mean,
okay. So
decide whether-
definitely, well, you and I will talk before the next one
okay.
and get it all straight. Okay. All
All
right. Let's see. It looks like almost, I know Ginger was on too, but I don't see her come back. She might not
Yeah.
have accessed the chat. So it looks like we're almost all here again.
Yeah, and
I'm
we're
gonna
not,
call Bernadette. I'm gonna call Bernadette again and tell him to try it again.
yeah, we won't be cut off again because this is our last 40 minutes.
Okay.
Till 4 o'clock.
All right, I'm gonna give her a call. So you guys carry on.
Okay.
Okay, I'm running out of things to say here. If there are any questions or comments or anything anybody wants to talk about, we can.
I don't know. Any questions for Alan?
You guys are all muted, I see.
Oh.
Everybody but Dan almost here.
I'm asking people to unmute.
Well, can you unmute them? I guess you can't, can you?
Well, I can ask them to unmute.
I'm
Ask
muted.
nicely, right?
I'm not sure if you want me to be unmuted.
Well,
I'm gonna mute because I need to see if I Bernadette.
Alan, did you say that the East of the Wall is now on ebook already?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
It's currently on Amazon and all the others I mentioned. So yes, it's an ebook. Yes.
Okay. Thanks.
Alan?
Yeah. Yeah, Jay.
Your story about the woman that smuggled the baby out in the baby carriage reminds me of the old joke about the guy that kept leaving his work site and he'd have this wheelbarrow full of straw. And the guards could always probe the straw with pitchforks and so forth, make sure there wasn't anything in it. And they did it over and over and over again and they never found anything. So finally, the guard says, you know, we've done this for months, and we don't ever find anything. And, you know, we don't care at this point. If you are getting something, just tell us what it is so we'll know. And he says, what are you stealing? He says, wheelbarrows.
Yeah, I think my father actually told me
That's an old one.
20 years ago. But you know, that is obviously an old story. But there are a lot of stories about the Berlin Wall, of course, about escape attempts and other things like that. And although the Stasi were not nice people, they were not perfect. And every once in a while you could fool them. And they made mistakes too. So people were always trying to outwit them, especially if they were trying to escape from East Berlin and get over the wall to West Berlin, where they would be in the American sector, and from there they could go to West Germany, American, British sectors, or even, of course, some of them went to the U.S. and other places. So,
Did you take the famous train ride when they used to come on board the train and check everybody's credentials?
Speaking of trains, there was an escape early in the game. When the wall was put up between East and West Berlin, and sometimes right beside buildings, sometimes very close to other things. And there was a train that essentially ran right beside the wall at that point, and it was a West Berlin train. And some people escaped by actually jumping on the moving train, because then they were in West Berlin. And there was, let's see, when the buildings were close to the wall, what do you call that thing where you whiz down a rope?
Oh, zip line. Zip line.
Yeah, zip line, right. I guess at least a couple of people escaped on a zip line because they were able to go from the upper story of a building over the wall and land in West Berlin. So there were all kinds of things done. There were tunnels built. This is a little bit of a giveaway, but there is an escape attempt in my book. And not all escape attempts, of course, were successful. There were, I don't know if they have ever made an exact account but probably a couple of hundred people were killed by the guards trying to go through or over or under. People escaped on a
Plane.
Gliders, yeah. Gliders. I don't know if anybody actually escaped using a real plane, possible, but they've gone over the wall, they tunneled under the wall, went through the wall, whatever they could, and these stories make good reading. And as I say, if you ever get to West Berlin, which is just plain Berlin, go to the museum at Checkpoint Charlie, and you'll see some of these things that were used in the escape attempts. It's a fun place to tour.
Now it is. Now, how long had you been working on the book? When did you first conceive of the idea?
Okay, I usually say it takes me a year to do a book, from beginning to publication. I don't remember exactly when I started it, but I'm pretty sure it's been less than a year, because I published the first book in the series, I believe June of last year, and I didn't start on this one till several months after that. So it's, I would say, less than a year.
Wow. And then how many, do you have any other editions, I think, going forward, or is it going to be this two very,
I haven't thought that far ahead yet. I'm still, still recovering from.
Okay.
Don't know if you left any cliffhangers or something, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've got this now. I have this 2-book series. My last series was 7 books.
Yeah.
This
Wow.
one is now 2 books. So I guess, you know, I could, if the spirit moves me, I could do another one, but the spirit has not moved me yet.
So what else do you have in the works that you're probably allowing yourself a little break right now, but
No, nothing big. You know, I've written a couple of blogs which are essentially part of a marketing thing for the books. They're on Goodreads and on Authors Den, things like that. So I'm always writing something, but
Have you, Alan, have you ever put all your poetry together in a book?
in answer to your question, Janice, not a real book. I've got a 3-ring binder which contains probably hundreds of my poems, but certainly not all of them. But it's my personal property and it's not going anywhere. And of course, most of them are also digital, in digital form.
Uh-huh. So that's, no.
I want to provide an answer, which is the book called Freedom's Light from Alan. I think of that as a poetry collection, although it's more of a, you know, it's a book about famous people throughout history, and there's a poem for each one.
Yeah, that is true, Dad. Thanks for mentioning that.
Plug.
I guess you could say in a way that's a poetry book. Well, the first book that I ever published, the Saga of Bill the Hermit, is actually a long narrative poem. Now, it's not in print. I don't think it's ever appeared even on Amazon, and they are almost aware of almost every book ever published. But yeah, that is certainly a poetry book.
It's been in our newsletter, I think, serialized.
That's right. Van put it in the newsletter. Yes, he certainly did. Thank you for doing that, Van.
Have you thought of doing another similar to the East Wall, sort of a where people can't leave the country, and well, we know in Mexico they've certainly dug a lot of caves or underground. I mean, have you wanted to include other areas where people are trying to get across? Swimming, we have a lot of people trying to swim. The Greeks and the Italians have saved thousands.
Yeah, a lot of people have tried to escape from a lot of places throughout history. That is certainly true.
That's ironic that you have a wall that, walls are normally meant to keep people out. And of course, the Berlin Wall is meant to keep people in.
Well, although they didn't admit that.
Right.
They said it was to keep the fascists from the West out. But yeah, of course it was to keep their own people in. When the wall came down in November of 1989, it was almost an accident. The things have been changing, and it was obvious that the German Democratic Republic was tottering at this point because they weren't meeting their goals. They were trying to bring prosperity in their own way. It wasn't working because it was more socialist than capitalistic. And finally, and I can't remember exactly who it was, said, well, at this point, we might as well let people go through. And so it fell to almost a single guard. He said, people are all lined up here. What should I do? And I think he was told, go ahead and let them through. That's how the wall was breached. And they went through by the thousands immediately. And of course, most of them were coming back, but they just wanted to go through and see what it was, see their friends in West Germany, or just take a taste of what the other side of the wall was like.
So it wasn't just Reagan's speech.
Reagan?
Yeah, it wasn't just Reagan's wonderful speech.
Yeah.
Tear this wall down.
Yeah.
Well, with Khrushchev, yeah.
Tear down the wall. That is correct. Oh, I'll give away one more thing about my book. It takes place in June of 1963. And as I was coming to the climax of the book, I suddenly realized that President Kennedy had given a speech in West Berlin, at that exact time. So I said, okay, my two people here, Liz and Charlie, have got to meet Kennedy. So I actually put that in the book. They got about 1 minute of his time, but they at least got to meet him.
Alan, did you ever see that Tom Hanks movie, Bridge of Spies? I don't know if it takes place during the same period or not.
Let's say, when does Bridge of Spies take place? Yeah, I have seen the movie fairly recently, and it's well done. And of course, it's real life. That really happened. The negotiator was a real person. Yeah, it's a really good movie.
Very good, very good. I highly recommend it. Jay, did you have a question for?
Yeah, I recently, I guess not that recently, but within the last 6 months, I saw a documentary on the same time period about Berlin and the Cold War and so forth. And in fact, they said in there that Reagan was advised by practically everybody not to give that speech where he says tear down the wall.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was advised not to do it.
They were sure that would make things worse instead of better. And so they advised him, but he was determined to do it, so he did.
He did it, yeah. And Kennedy, whose speech was in '63, June of '63, gave a very well received speech himself. He made the famous quote, Ich
ein Berliner.
I
am a Berliner.
And some people make a joke about it because Berliner was also the name of some kind of food. But actually, his speech was very well received, and hundreds of thousands of people watched him give his speech. This was in an open air area, and it was well received.
Yeah. I look forward to reading it. There's a book that I would recommend to you and to everybody. It's a true story, and it's called Agent Zigzag. And it's just
Say it again.
Agent Zigzag. And it's
what was the first word?
Agent.
Agent, A-G-E-N-T. Agent Zigzag.
Okay.
Briefly, it was a story about a guy who was a criminal, really, but the English had him in prison, and they realized what a clever man he was, and so they let him get out of prison in order to go and be a spy for the English in Germany.
He spoke German too.
And he spoke German. And so he went to Germany, became a spy. The Germans then determined to, they met him and so forth, and of course they didn't know he was a spy, or at least they may have suspected it, but at some point or other, they turned him and made him a counter spy against England.
Yeah.
And so he was going back and forth between being a spy for England and being a spy for Germany. And he was so good in the Germans' eyes that he's the only one that ever got the Iron Cross from Hitler personally.
That's wonderful.
He ended up being really, never was anything but a British spy, but it was a fascinating book.
Speaking of World War II spies, we have one living in Palos Verdes. She's a woman.
French woman, yeah.
She's 100 years old. Her name is Berthe Cohen, and she wrote the book with help, Behind Enemy Lines, which of course we have a copy of. It's a well-written book. if you like spy books, true spy books, I highly recommend that book. And
Good.
she is a good speaker. At 100, she's still giving talks.
Really?
I met her about 15 years ago at Borders Books in Torrance, and I have a picture of us somewhere.
Yeah, she's
There
given
was-
a lot of talk.
There was a good article
and-
about her recently, and I think the Beach Reporter or something, just within the last few months, I believe. Read something.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. There have been a couple of recent articles about her, which I have clipped out and placed in my copy of the book.
Wow.
But yeah, she's still going pretty strong. She's under 5 feet tall. The thing that helped her was the fact that although she was living in France, she spoke perfect German, which of course, without that, she probably wouldn't have been able to do what she did. So she could go between France and Germany once she figured out how to do it without, getting killed or captured, which took her a while. And she had help. She was working for the Allies. She went into Germany many times and brought back valuable information. She saved lives, she saved money, she saved time with the information she brought back. So it's a good book if you like that kind of thing.
Yeah, I do. So, Alan, this is a sequel to your first book. Will it stand alone though, or should you read the first one to get any background for this book?
It's certainly not necessary. Okay. I mean, yeah, we've got two of the same characters, actually 4 or 5 maybe, but it's Liz and Charlie who dominate the book because they're on every page. And yeah, you could find out about them reading the first book. I should tell you, yeah, you have to read the first book too.
Yes.
You have to read them both, but they're standalones, but they do use the same characters. I liked them. Once I finished the book, I said, yeah, they're nice people, they deserve more airtime. So
you're not planning on killing them off anytime lately, or
no. If I do a third book, it'll definitely be with them.
Good.
Yeah, Bonnie said it should be in Northern Ireland, but I don't know. We'll have to think about that one.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
But that's as far as that's gotten.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, I was trying to find my my photo with Miss Cohn, and I couldn't find it, but I have. There's someone named Alan Cook with Catherine Perlman, and that's me.
Oh yeah.
Many years ago at the.
That looks Bonnie just reminded me that I have a second cousin living in East Germany.
Yes.
His name is Christian. We have met him. He's a big, bluff kind of a guy, but very, very nice. He's married and has lots of descendants. As I say, he is my second cousin because I have a German grandmother. In fact, my father spoke German before he spoke English, because although my grandmother and my father were living in the US, she was really a German. She never really acclimated to the US. And she took my father and his sister back to Germany several times, and they spent fairly lengthy periods there. Yeah, my father would have made a good German spy because his German was very good. I mean, a spy for
right.
the Allies.
What area in Germany? Where in Germany?
Halle is part of what was East Germany. So all the time the wall was up, Christian and his wife and descendants were living in East Germany behind the wall. And unfortunately, he doesn't speak English, and my German is such. We weren't able to really ask him questions about that.
Oh,
unfortunately, but I'm sure he's got stories to tell.
yeah.
Because he's lived all his life in East Germany. But, you know,
Wow.
what was East Germany for 28 years?
So as far as you know, he hasn't written anything himself about it?
Not as far as I know. Yeah.
Well, are you going to send him a copy of your book or whatever, and he can have it translated, or that might be something to think about?
Yeah.
Bonnie made a comment in the other room. I know she'd like to give him something. That's, yeah, of course, the audiobook's going to be in English, which won't help him. Yeah, I'm not quite sure how to do that.
But your grandson can speak German, so maybe he could translate part of it.
Well, I don't think his German is that good, but I don't know. Yeah, our narration is definitely going to be English.
Wow. Well, this has been really good. Is there anything else that anybody want to ask any questions, or too bad we got cut off and on, but
Did you know who's up for next month?
no, I'm waiting to hear back from one of Dan's colleagues, and I figure we have 3 meetings, September, October, November. Again, I want to do a virtual party in December and just catch up on what everyone's doing. And
Did anyone? I mean, I got dropped off twice. I think, yeah. Well, did anybody else? I mean, I thought I was going to be on for another 40 minutes, and then I ended up going out at about 20 minutes.
well, Dan and I are going to get together. We're going to work out that even if we have to pay for these Zoom meetings, it doesn't sound like it's that much, and it's a sure, you know, it's much less expensive.
We could ask for contributions. I could throw in a few bucks.
Well,
Yeah.
Again, we haven't paid. You know, we were paid up in the library, and they're
Right.
going to give credit for every single meeting that we've lost, including the one the first of the year where they had the water main problem and we didn't meet. So
That's
I keep
generous,
track of
yeah.
that. So
So if you can, I mean, last meeting, did you have to stop last meeting?
no, this is our third.
No, they gave us a free one.
Right.
That was
Was that
free,
in?
but it was just out of the kindness of the Zoom company. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm part of another club where they decided to do that, to take money out of the, out of their treasury and pay for the Zoom meeting. So it's just a matter of, administratively, whether we want to do that as a club. Otherwise, Zoom meetings are, if you have more than one person, which I don't know why you would only have one person in a meeting, but it for a free account, it goes for only 40 minutes.
Really?
Oh, for the free account. And then, so do you know how much it is for an hour then?
For an hour?
An extra hour?
No, they don't charge for per hour. It's a monthly.
Oh, okay.
It's I forget, they said it's $12.95 per month if you pay on a monthly basis, or no, it's 14 something if you pay on a monthly basis. It's 12 something if you pay all at once. So
I
for
see.
12,
You pay like
you can
12
pay,
months for,
you can pay for the whole year all at once.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, if we can avoid what happened today, that'd be great, because that was tough.
well, I mean, it's common knowledge. You just look up Zoom, you'll know all this. I mean, I'm not. It's it's not secret information.
But going forward, especially if we have, speakers from outside that aren't so accommodating, I want to make sure that
Yeah.
guys, we'll get that worked out. Yeah, because we do have some
Sure.
funds, and again, we aren't spending anything. We're not having to rent a projector or anything. So
Yeah.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and if we could have everybody not, making background noise while people are talking, I think that's very rude. With telephones ringing and that sort of thing. So maybe we should set up like rules for the meetings, conduct rules, and it would be nice also to have the, if anyone has interesting acceptances or interesting rejections, or to kind of do it the way we used to do it with different parts of the meeting. And so with that in mind, I'd like to do a 3-minute reading. Jerry said I could, so I'm I'm going to read my poem to my wife, and she's around here somewhere. This is called "A Delicate and Strong Flower," and it's to my wife on our 5th anniversary, and there she is. Her love is life magic. Her kiss is warmth. Her embrace is the delicate power of a spring flower. She is a sorceress when she wears a black dress. She is Antau. Her kiss keeps me warm like a scarf. Her love keeps me safe. Her embrace lights a bright fire on a chilly winter's day. Like the fireplace in a lodge, she is there for me always. Like the cool water from a waterfall, her kisses refresh me. July 31st, 2020.
That is beautiful. And
Thank you.
congratulations on your anniversary. I can't believe it's been 5 years already.
Oh, thank you, Jerry.
Hi, sweetie.
And I know, Ellen, you're Bonnie, she asked you to write a poem about her for once a month, or?
Well, actually for a year, which was certainly plenty. But yeah, for one time is anniversary and Christmas and her birthday, and then a little something for Valentine's Day. So yeah, for a year.
Well, yeah, thank you. I know Jerry said thank you already, but I want to really thank you for all the information that you gave us today in your talk. I didn't know really how to use Smashwords. I mean, I knew about Smashwords, but I didn't know how to use it. So thank you.
It's friendly. Smashwords is friendly. And as I say, they want your business, and they've made it easy to use. And they're good people. So yeah, put your stuff on Smashwords. And anybody who's got an ebook, it's not difficult to go from the Amazon version to the Smashwords version. Just needs a little tweaking, and you're there.
I'm sorry, I forgot how would you quickly define Smashwords?
It's a distributor of ebooks.
Oh, okay, well, I don't.
Distributes ebooks to other places than Amazon, including Barnes and Noble, including Kobo, including Apple Books, places that you know about and would like to get your book distributed to.
Thank you, Ellen.
You're welcome. This was fun. This was.
And thank you, thank you to Jerry for, for setting it up so our next meeting won't have any interruptions. And because I wanted to, it's telling me I have 8 minutes left. I thought I could rest on the largesse of Zoom. So I guess they let me do that for 2 months. And so
now they figure they got us. And yeah, they're gonna, they've hooked us in.
Yeah, well,
that's right.
We own some stock in Zoom, so we want them to make money. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Well, again, this is good to know going forward. And yes, well, I'm glad everyone joined in that we're able to. So we'll post it. Man, so glad that you're still there and able to work on things. So.
It would be great to let people know if they don't have a computer that, like, I can, and I typically do, I help those people who can't get on the computer. And if they have a phone, then they call me. And then since I have a landline, then they can just listen to it. Because I think some people think this is just for people with computers.
But if you have an iPhone, you can get the Zoom app. So there's another way to do it.
Right.
That's what I'm doing.
I'm
using iPhone.
iPhone.
I got
Yeah,
everything.
Dorothy is using an iPhone right now to get onto Zoom, so it's possible to.
It's easier.
It looks good,
Very
Dorothy.
easy.
We can see you. We can hear you.
And yeah, my wife has a smartphone that's not an iPhone, and she can do it.
Yeah,
But you have to
very
be,
easy.
yeah.
Androids, yeah.
You got the app, and then you are able to do it.
The app.
I have not done it personally, but Dorothy will be our expert. We can ask her.
Right.
Yeah, right.
I think that's a good point. So to explain.
Oh, Jay, you have another, go ahead.
No, just that Barbara has a Zoom account for her iPhone, but we have to use the computer because she doesn't remember her password.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
That's all right. Telling stories again, Jay. Aw. That's all right. It's easy to do. At least
I have
you
all my
did.
passwords on a Microsoft Word document on my computer. Yes, I know that's very insecure and dangerous, and but it's the only way I will remember all of them. I know what I need. I need one of those, password apps that just, makes a password and remembers it for you. Yeah.
Apparently, we'd rather not know our passwords.
Be left alone. Aw.
Invasion, yeah, I mean, I don't know. My computer went down. Microsoft said that you're blocked because somebody's messing with your computer. I said, it's me.
No.
Yes, you do have to be careful because that's how they do phishing also. Sometimes you're blocked out of whatever. Give us your password so we get you back in. And that's the end of it.
Well, I have friends who give them, my daughter, who's very smart, she gave somebody her social security. I said, I don't believe it.
Oh, no.
Believe it.
Wow.
Goodbye.
So
Well, gang, we might be cut off any minute now. Do you know how much longer we have? Have you been timing it?
Yes, it's 4 minutes and 52 seconds and counting.
So
And
4
like-
minutes and
It reminds me of the old Mission Impossible show.
we're gonna.
They're doing a countdown? Okay.
And
Right.
there'd be a blinking red light.
I'm sorry about that, guys. Yeah, especially for those of you who will be unceremoniously, cut off. Well, I mean, it's happened to you twice already, right? So
But we all came back.
Oh, y'all came back.
We even gained
Yeah.
a few. So
very good.
That was good that it didn't eliminate what I had already put in. So I'm grateful.
right.
Right. I didn't know, like everything, experience. I didn't know that just behind it, I could click on, all these different levels. I could click on the link. The link.
So Dan, the link number and the password is consistent then, right?
Yes.
So everybody, if you just make note, if that
Yeah.
happens again, so you don't have to go back in your emails, just make whatever. Go from there.
Yes. It should be the one that's on the flyer that Van sent out, and he made it look really attractive.
Right. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, gang, before we get dropped for the third, fourth time or whatever.
Can I ask? Do you know? Is Debbie going to have the novel writing month due in December? Have you heard anything about that?
No, but I'm sure if you go online, their site, you can access all the information they probably won't. Well, if they just don't know, I'm sure yet. So, but the library does have a site, and you can go on, and they'll inform you what's going on and any possible openings or anything coming up. So.
Well, we
gang,
have 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Anybody? Okay, a 2-minute reading. No.
This is our last 3 minutes, so we might as well make good use of it.
Take it to
We
the
should
end
have
in case.
a lottery of who can guess when everything will open up and when we will be back to the library.
Oh, that might be a good idea. Right. Well, if
I'm
I
gonna
forget.
March 13th,
March 13th, 2022.
21, not 22. Oh,
I hope not.
However, the vaccine is coming, because that's the one thing that will at least give us some semblance of, and then to do the tests on that and everything. So, but at least we have this. What if this were 5 years ago or however before the time of Zoom?
Yeah.
And we didn't see each other for a year or however much. So be grateful for small blessings, huh? Or big blessings, whatever.
My husband's heavy into Gunsmoke, and what happened there is you said goodbye to your family, and you may never see them again.
Right.
Unless maybe a funeral. I mean,
Yeah.
that you know.
Right.
Like, can you imagine that? Or people who traveled across the ocean in the past.
Yeah,
you know.
that was it. They knowing that would be the last they ever
Right.
saw each other. So until that happens again or whatever, again, Alan, thank you so much. This is a lot of information. I look forward to get it to Van also, so he can print up also within the newsletter. And then bit by bit, I guess we're going to get 3 links to our Zoom
Yeah, we'll get 3 links. Jerry, I'll put them together in YouTube Studio, so we'll just have one video.
Okay, that sounds. Thank you so much for knowing how to do that.
And I'll be sure to put them in the right order.
Okay, that might help. Yeah.
Otherwise, it will be very strange.
That'll be interesting. People really wonder what we're all about as a club, huh?
Well,
here's my note. Let's see.
we need to get people to contact other people. Right now, for whatever reason, we cannot get other people's emails. I contacted about 10 people about this, reminded Dan that we have more than 6 in this club, because he sent me an email with 6 different people on it, and that was good, but we need to do more networking.
We do. We have 100 almost 80 or something on at least my list, and yes, we need to. We talked about this last time too. We need to generate a roster for those that don't mind being contacted.
What about telephone trees? Like, there are about 20 people that I would really. Did Ginger ever get in here? Because I saw something about Ginger.
Yes, Ginger's here.
She did.
Yep. Dan, hi.
Let's see. Hang on.
Okay, I guess we're all back. Sorry, Alan.
Sorry, Alan.
Hang on. I'm gonna let you listen. Okay, hang on. Okay. I don't know what's going on with Sharon. What? I gave her the number. The number won't work.
I don't know.
Tell her to try it again, because they had to stop at 40 minutes and they're getting back on.
Yeah.
Click on the link on the email.
No, she's using a cell phone, so.
Yeah, but you can't listen to me, and I don't know how you're going to do that. You're listening to me. I don't know how she's going to listen to you.
You're on. All right. Let's go ahead and get back. Alan, sorry about that. Go ahead. You ended, I think, with when the wall came down.
Yeah, the wall came down in 1989, but it was up for 28 years. I was going to tell you about a clever escape attempt. A man observed the metal bar that the East German guards raised to let a car through to the west at Checkpoint Charlie, and determined how high the bar was. He found a low-slung car, a convertible. He removed everything above the height of the bar, including the windshield, and let some of the air out of the tires. He had his girlfriend and her mother hidden in the back. As he approached the East German guards, instead of stopping when the guard motioned for him to pull over, he gunned the engine, roared under the bar, and on to freedom. Needless to say, vertical bars were soon installed on the horizontal bar to keep others from escaping the same way. And there were a lot of other escape attempts, some successful and some not. I'll give you a little bit of information about my book. Charlie and Liz are recruited by the CIA to go into East Germany. This is in June 1963, in order to attempt to get information about a weapon of mass destruction that was supposedly being worked on during World War II. They are not spies, but the CIA is having problems maintaining an operation in East Germany. Charlie and Liz are financial analysts in the fraud division of a large investment company, but they have had expensive experience with repressive governments while they were in Cuba. In the first book of the series, Trust Me If You Dare. I happen to have a copy of the cover of Trust Me If You Dare. You see that okay? As I say, it looks backwards to me, but I'm told that it looks okay to you guys. Okay. You notice there's a big yacht in the picture, and one of the characters, I guess you'd say, in the book is, quote, the largest yacht in Fort Lauderdale. But part of the book also takes place in Cuba.
Yacht in Fort Lauderdale.
The Stasi, the name for the East German secret police, getting back to the new book, are the reason the CIA is having problems. I learned a lot about them while I was writing this book. They hold the world's record for the most successful surveillance organization history has ever known. They collect information on everyone who has ever looked cross-eyed at anything to do with GDR in East Germany, the German Democratic Republic, because computers aren't being used for this sort of thing yet. They accomplish all this surveillance and gathering of information with folders and notebooks. This is, as I say, from 1961 until 1989. They have thousands of informers, ordinary people who are feeding them information on the rest of the population, feeding the information to the Stasi. So you ask yourself, and I ask myself, why do informers inform on other people? I think part of it has something to do with a twisted sense of patriotism. Some are blackmailed by the Stasi who have something on them. The Stasi are brutal, but they are also smart. They play psychological mind games with people. They let citizens know they are being watched by letting the air out of their bicycle tires. Most people get around by bicycle. Cars are scarce. Kind of a note from things in my book. The most used car in East Germany was called the Trabant, Trabant, and that was manufactured in East Germany. It was known as the worst car ever made. And yet there was a waiting list of many years to buy a new Trabant. As a result, new ones or used ones sold for more money than new ones. But Trabants have a big part in my book. Okay, getting back to the Stasi are brutal, but they are also smart. And I said they do things like letting air out of people's tires, going into their apartments when they're not home, moving furniture around. In other words, scaring people and letting them know that they're watching them. They also do all the standard spy stuff, such as placing bugs on telephones. Okay, after the Berlin Wall came down in 1989, the GDR collapsed. The East German government collapsed. The Stasi started shredding all the information they had on citizens, and they burned out hundreds of shredders doing this, shredding all this information. Much of the information they kept never got shredded, and today Germans can ask the current government to find out what kind of information the Stasi had on them, which was sometimes pretty amazing. And of course, not always accurate either. Is Dan with us? Dan, are you there?
Yeah.
Hi.
Okay, there you are. Are there any questions at this point? Because I'm going to change the topic a little bit here.
What year were you in? What year were you and Bonnie there? You say?
We were there in 1994.
Okay.
After the wall came down. We were there again in 2012. Bonnie, I think, was there at least once on business. So we've got it covered.
Alan, did you meet anyone who escaped or tried to escape? Did you have firsthand, conversation with someone who tried to escape?
I have not personally met anybody who escaped or tried to escape. There are a couple of books about East Germany that have some good information in them. One is called Stasiland, Stasiland. In that book, the author, who interviewed numerous people from East Germany, talked to a woman who, as I think a 16-year-old girl, tried to go over the wall, if you can believe that. And the dogs didn't get her. She didn't get shot. And I think she almost made it, but the Stasi had put up tripwires. She tripped on one of the tripwires. The Stasi became aware that she was there, and of course she got arrested and never got through to West Germany. I can give you another example, and there are quite a few of them, fortunately. It was difficult for some people to go from East Germany to visit West Germany, especially if the Stasi was afraid that they would defect and wouldn't come back. But some people they let through, and in one case, it was a young woman who apparently was doing some work or something in West Germany. So she would go through every day and then come back at night. And the reason they knew she would come back at night is because she had a baby, a small baby. So they figured she's not going to leave her baby. Well, she started wheeling something like a baby carriage through each day, filled with stuff. Of course, the Stasi would look at it, check it, make sure everything was okay. Finally, they got used to seeing this. She was able to hide her baby in the bottom of the carriage and essentially walk right through and into West Germany. And of course, she never came back. Okay, so why did informers inform? What motivates somebody to do that? I think some of it was probably out of a twisted sense of patriotism. Some are blackmailed by the Stasi who have something on them. Stasi are brutal. After the Berlin Wall came down, we talked about all the stuff that they tried to get rid of, and they were not successful. So a lot has been learned about them ever since. Incidentally, there's another book called Letters Over the Wall that talks about correspondence between East Germans and an American over the years when the wall was up. And I read that one in getting ready for the book also. Okay, anything else directly related to the Berlin Wall or my book right now?
I just want to say that I'm at exactly 50% of the way through the book, and it's really good. Highly recommend. I'm really enjoying it, and it's a really.
Oh, okay, thank you. Yeah, I've got to read your book too, Will. I promise I will do that. So thank you.
Oh, of course.
Alan.
I'm really enjoying it, and it's funny because for a while my dad was like obsessed with the Trabant car. He thought it was like super cool. And so we have seen them when we went to Germany about 10 years ago. We saw some of them in they still do like, they have a few of them still running in Berlin that they do like tours with, and they have like 2-stroke engines and they're made out of pressed cardboard, and they're awful, but it's very interesting. So great job, Alan.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of people are kind of obsessed with the Trabants, but they were not great cars when they were really needed. Okay,
Alan, have you gone to the news? It's called the Newsy Museum in Washington, D.C. They have one of the actual checkpoints, and they have some videos, and it's very interesting. So if you ever go to Washington, D.C., you may want to go to the museum that's called, I think it's called the News Museum, and there's also one area that has all the front pages of Life magazine, and then information about who took the photograph, why did they take the photograph, and so forth. So that's a real interesting museum if you ever go back to Washington, D.C.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, of course, we've been to Checkpoint Charlie, and although it's no longer a checkpoint, you don't have to stop there. The sign is still up. There's still a little hut used by the Americans, and of course, then there's the museum there that talks about all the escape attempts. But right now, I just want to say a word about how we can help each other as writers. One thing that every author needs is reviews. Reviews are helpful to people who buy books, and they help authors get word out about their books. One thing I've done is to swap reviews with other authors. So I'd be glad to read and review your book if you read and review mine. I'm going to do that with Will. I make this offer to every one of you who's ever published a book. If you review one of my books, I would like it to be East of the Wall, because that's the new one. That's the one that needs reviews at this time. Okay, a little more about that. The best place to post reviews is Amazon, but there are some other good places also. One of them is Goodreads at goodreads.com. Let's see, I've got, no, I'm not, my picture's not, hang on just a sec. Put my picture there. Okay, goodreads.com I recommend to everyone. Dan, I think you're a member. I know that
yes.
Beth and Will Wittenberry are members. We should all be members of Goodreads. And
what does it take to be a member?
A password. Does not cost anything. Goodreads is actually owned by Amazon, but they operate independently from Amazon. Every author, as I say, should be a member of Goodreads, and it's free to join. You can post information about your books on your page so that people don't have to search for them. The site has access to all the books in print. So anybody who's ever gotten a book in print can find your book there. And as I say, post information on it on your Goodreads page. You can review books and other members can review yours. So Goodreads is one good place to post reviews. Another is Amazon. And of course, there are other booksellers too that I'm going to talk about in a minute. And there are other places there too.
Bernadette.
Oh, hang on. I have Bernadette.
Hi, Bonnie.
Hi, Bernadette.
How are you?
I don't know, my computer just went off and I couldn't get back to it.
This is Dan.
Okay, Dan, Bernadette can't get herself back online.
Maybe she could just she could just listen through your phone. That's what I'm doing with Sharon. She couldn't get back on.
Do you want me to keep the phone on, Bernadette?
Yes.
Okay. I'll place it where hopefully you can you hear that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Okay, I was talking about Goodreads.
Yes.
As I say, you can review books, post your reviews on Goodreads. Other people can review your books and post them on Goodreads. If you join Goodreads, be sure to friend me. And if you have a hard time finding my site, all you have to do is search on one of my book titles, and that will take you directly to my page.
Oh.
So it's easy to find people on Goodreads if they have written a book, and if they are members of Goodreads.
Can you read an example so we have an idea? Are we expected to write more than a paragraph or what?
I'm not going to give a dissertation on reviews at this time, but I would suggest a good review is at least a paragraph. But
okay.
You guys are all writers. You know how to write. You don't need to learn that from me. Okay, so anyway, as I say, go ahead and friend me if you're on Goodreads. Another thing that Goodreads does is that it hosts book giveaways. You can give away up to 100 copies of your ebook, and you can also list a giveaway for a print book and give away as many copies as you like, as you feel that you can afford. The cost to set up the giveaway is $119. And one objective of having a giveaway is to get reviews, and I have done a giveaway with East of the Wall. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Other websites that writers should be familiar with. One of these websites is Smashwords.com. I can hold this up again, but it's just Smashwords.com. Okay. And
how do you spell match? Mathwork?
Smashwords. SMASHWORDS.com.
Just 1 minute.
And
M-A-S-H. Is it M-A-S-H?
S-M-A-S-H, right? The word smash, as in
S-M-A-S-H.
as in clobber or hit.
Smash. What's the Smashword?
Smashwords, WORDS.com.
Alan, can you please tell Bernadette to hang up with you and give me a call?
Okay.
You shouldn't be having to, yes. Bernadette, call me. Call Jerry.
Call Jerry.
Can you call Jerry?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah,
Okay,
thanks.
bye. All right. All right. You need Smashwords to help distribute your ebook. Once your ebook is set up for distribution at Amazon, then you publish it on Smashwords for distribution to everybody else.
Oh.
Everybody else includes Barnes & Noble for their Nook reader, Kobo for their reader, and by the way, from Kobo you can get international sales, and Apple Books, and there are a number of others which I won't name, but it distributes basically to all of them. So that's why you need Smashwords. Now, you do have to format your ebook for Smashwords a little differently than you do for Amazon. But the good news is that Mark Coker, who founded Smashwords, has written a very comprehensive free booklet on how to do this. with easy to follow instructions. For example, for making a table of contents and that kind of thing. And it's not difficult to do. I have all my ebooks listed on Smashwords as well as Amazon. Smashwords conducts sales several times a year, and they cost us nothing to participate. We can either give our books away or sell them at a discounted price, but in any case, we can participate in the sale. They just had one for the month of July, but they have several, as I say, every year. Okay, a couple of other websites, and these are my websites. One is my exclusive website, and the other one has thousands of writers on it, and it's another website that everybody can join free. My website is called alancook.50megs.com, Megs spelled M-E-G-S. Don't ask how it got that name. I've had it for, 25 years, almost since the internet began. So the dawn of the internet. My site has expanded over the years, but it does have information on all my books, Bonnie's memoir, and everything on it is easy to find. Now, the other site I want to mention is called Author's Den, and that is authorsden.com, author, plural, den.com. And my page is authorsden.com/Alan Cook. So every author on Author's Den has their own page. And on that page, you can put information about your books, you can put blogs, articles, poetry, just about anything that you want. And other people can, of course, read them. Now, Author's Den starts free. If you want to have a higher position, in other words, get more attention to your stuff, you can pay money to do that. But you can also use it free. I have almost 200 pieces on Author's Den that I have written, and also information about all of the books that I published, all 23 as I finally counted them up. I posted short stories, articles, blogs, poems. The site keeps track of how many hits each written piece gets. My Greek mythology poem, Echo on Narcissus, gets the most hits of anything I have ever posted on Author's Den. In second position are my Lady from France limericks, as far as the number of hits. And I think my Berlin Wall poem is actually in third position. People do have interest in the Berlin Wall still. But that'll give you an idea of what attracts attention on the internet. Okay, any questions at this point? Okay.
Just Alan.
Yes.
You're talking about the Stasi. Did you see any connections with something like 1984 by George Orwell, or the fact that this type of activity is actually, has happened in our history?
Yeah, Orwell wrote the fictional book. This was East Berlin was real, but yeah, sure, definite comparisons, and there's a quote for one of Orwell's other books everybody is equal, but some are more equal than others. That was certainly definitely true. Members of the Stasi and of course the rulers were more equal than everybody else, even though they called themselves, you know, socialist paradise. There were, you know, the elite, and then there was everybody else. And many of the everybody else didn't like it, and that's why they tried to escape to West Berlin. And that was the reason.
I'm on here now. All right, I'll have Bernadette here.
Oh, you guys are back online.
I just sit here.
Okay, Bernadette has rejoined us.
Yes.
Hi, Bernadette. Hi, William. We had two Williams there.
Oh, you do?
That's Bernadette.
Okay. Yeah, hi Bernadette. Welcome back.
Hi, Al.
Okay, you're not muted. Okay. Okay, next topic. I've been looking into creating an audio version of East of the Wall. Smashwords, which I talked about, the book distributor, ebook distributor, suggests using a company named Findaway Voices, which is findawayvoices.com. I trust Smashwords because I've been doing business with them for 10 years. So I took them up on their recommendation and I investigated Findaway, going to their website, gave them some information about my book. I told them what kind of narration would be appropriate, and you can select either a male or female narrator. Because of the tone of the book, I selected a male narrator. A week or so later, they sent me samples of narration by 9 different narrators. The first thing that struck me is that narration is expensive. My book is over 80,000 words and is estimated to take about 9 hours to read when made into an audiobook.
Oh.
The estimated cost of narration from the narrators I received is quoted per finished hour of narration, meaning that any mistakes in the narration have been corrected. For these narrators, the cost varied from $235 to $500 per finished hour, or something over $2,000 and up for the full book. These prices sent me scrambling for alternatives. And now we're going to talk about Matthew, my grandson, because he is a June graduate of Pomona College with a major in music. He also has acted in plays and musicals and has a great singing voice and great speaking voice. He's interested in doing narration. So he and I talked. He narrated a sample of East of the Wall and various other books and sent his samples, 2 to 4 minute samples, to Findaway. I got back to Findaway and I told them I was interested in having Matthew narrate my book. So a week or so later, in fact, just this week, it was Wednesday, lo and behold, they sent me another set of narrators, and at the top of the list was Matthew. So I listened to his sample narrations, gave my stamp of approval, and he narrated a selection from East of the Wall, actually from chapter 8, which includes a sentence in German, which sounded fine to me, a non-German speaker. But remember that he sings in many languages almost as many as Ildi does. If you want to listen to examples of Matthew's singing, he has a brand new website, and I'll give you his website. It's pretty easy, thematthewcook.com. That is the word THE, matthewcook.com. And there's a link from his website to his YouTube videos. If you want to listen to him sing arias from operas or from music from musicals, if you like Cole Porter, he sings, this was the, Where is the Life of Late I Live, which is from Kiss Me Kate, probably Cole Porter's best musical. And he does a great job singing that. So to end the dreadful suspense here, I have chosen Matthew to be my narrator.
That's amazing. So now can he be on offer for anyone that may want him? He's listed?
Yeah, he's got a job.
Unbelievable.
He is part of their force.
So how does it work though? Do they take a commission or anything? I mean, do you have to pay him and then he pays them something or what?
I pay Findaway for the use of Matthew. Because he now has a contract with Findaway, which is okay. I would have probably had him narrate it, paying him directly. This is better because it gives him a job, and this was really, once we thought about having him do it, the key thing we wanted to do was to get him a job.
Amazing.
So it worked. So yeah,
and then how much did it cost you again to register with Findaway?
Nothing to register, but I have to pay for Matthew's narration. Pay Findaway for Matthew's narration.
But Matthew sets his fee is basically what he does then, or what?
Apparently Findaway set his fee, or maybe they did it together. I'm not quite clear on that. But it was less than any of the others I saw, and there's a good reason for that. He's new at the game. All the others are very experienced. I listened to them, their samples. They were very good, and they were very experienced, and they've got long lists of things that they have done. He hasn't done any yet.
So, they're professionals, but this gives him a legitimate, for the IRS and everything. He
will get 1099s, undoubtedly. He'll have to pay income tax, all that stuff. But that's what, when you have a job, that's what happens, right?
Wow.
So did you say his is $500 or what is it?
Well, the total cost for Matthew doing the narration, remember that this is payable to Findaway, and I'm sure they will keep some part of it, is $1,600 or $1,700.
Wow. Okay.
But it is less than any of the others that I saw.
What was it that you said something about 500?
That was the professional readers.
I think that 500 was one of them, one charge per hour of finished text. Well, my book is estimated to have 9 hours. So if you can multiply 9 times 50, you'll get an idea of what he would.
Right. I don't know if you know Jonathan, who's spoken to our group. He has done voiceovers too. I recall him saying. The one that wrote the boxing book.
Yes, he has. Yes, he does that also. Right.
Well, I think it's a pretty good job. Obviously, it's not a full-time job, but it's a nice thing to be able to do, particularly if, like Matthew, you'd like to do things like sing opera and stuff like that, which are obviously not full-time jobs either. So the more things he can do on the side, he plays the organ, he can play in churches. He has been substitute organist in churches and he's been paid for that. So yeah, there are a number of things he can do. And at some point he may actually have to get a job, but a full-time job, but since he'll probably go to grad school a year from now, he's probably not going to get a full-time job between now and then.